I'll go and get the patient. So I've brought you a patient. This is Caroline. I picked her from having Caroline. I know it looks a bit weird the way it is right now. We're trying to test something, but I explained to you. And then we're going to be testing something. So I talked to her at the clinic, and she was able to come and work with us. So this is a medical student, really. And you can just proceed. You can put your bag here, or you can just hold it. Let me see.
Hi, my name is Rhythm, and I'm a level 3 student, and it's actually my first interview. So I just want you to feel at ease, and if there's anything that you're uncomfortable with as we proceed.
Raise your volume a bit so that
as we're proceeding with the interview, if there's anything that's making you uncomfortable, you could please let me know, and then we can see what to do. Yeah. So just feel at ease, and yeah. Right. So I'll just start with your basic information. I'd just like to know your name first.
Yeah. But I feel like there's too many things in the room.
You feel the truly.
Yeah, I feel like when there are too many things in the room, I feel like the ground will sink. Yeah. And I feel like if there are too many things, like the ground is going to.
Is there anything in specific that you want us to move out? Or?
Yeah, maybe the chairs.
Should we put it at the back? You feel better?
I'm just like, I feel like I can't really go down.
No problem. So I'll just start with your basic information. Not to know your name.
Correct.
Caroline. Your age?
Just 25.
Are you married or single?
I was married.
Okay.
Yeah.
And sorry to go into the, was it a divorce or are you widowed?
He's married to that family baby died.
Is there any religion you follow? Or you Christian? Catholic? What do you do, like, as in, what's your occupation?
I used to work for NHIF, but I left.
And so currently, you're not working. Is it you coming here today for your counseling? Is it by your own will or were you told to come? Were you supposed to come?
Actually, my mom is the one
thought it would help? Okay, so now that I have your information, I'd like to go into what exactly brought you here. What exactly are you going through that made you come here?
I like in my own house. I have this fear of the ground going down. Like I feel like there are too many things in the room. I feel like the ground will sink. And even at work, I stopped work because there were too many tables, too many chairs, and I couldn't stay there. I used to feel like the ground would go down anytime.
So it's just the fear of everything sinking down.
Yes.
Okay. Apart from that, because I can see that even right now when you came in, you were uncomfortable. Is there anything else that bothers you apart from the ground going down?
Yeah, just that.
Just that.
I always feel like if the ground has too much weight, it's going to go down. Like in my house, I have tiles. I've removed the tiles because I always have to leave the tiles and touch the ground to make sure that the ground is not sinking.
Okay, so that's your primary complaint. Okay. Just to go a bit into what you're facing, when did it really start that you started feeling that the ground was going to sink?
I lost my baby because I just given birth. The child was 28 kgs. And then when we went home with the baby, I had put her on the seat. Like I wanted to go and remove clothes from the clothesline. And then I had put her on the seat. And then when you came with the clothes, I forgot that I put the child on the seat because that's a secret. I don't want to put clothes. And I put the clothes on top of the child. And then she suffocated. So I feel the weight was too much for her. Yeah, the weight was too much for her.
Really sorry to hear that. But
So when after I put the clothes there, and I went to the kitchen, and then I remembered, oh, the baby. By the time I was getting there, the baby was already dead. And the weight was so much on the kid.
really sorry to hear that. But when exactly was this? How long ago?
Just 2 years ago.
So, so that's what happened, and it's really unfortunate. So when the baby passed away, did your symptoms start right then, or was it gradual? Was it sudden?
It was a week later, my husband left. And then I just started scared of things coming down. Because it gives me the feeling the baby had of suffocating. Because the baby suffocated. So I always feel like if the ground goes down, I will suffocate and stop breathing.
Okay. So the husband, when your husband left you, was it because of what happened, or was it because you were too scared, or was there any reason behind
He
it?
said I was too careless, and I keep blaming myself.
can see that you clearly didn't do it intentionally. So I don't think you should be blaming yourself.
No, but why did I think? Wait, did I think before I put the clothes on top of the baby? And she was so small. I'm so sorry.
You can take your time. You're not in a hurry.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
Are you a bit better now? Can we proceed? Okay. So, because I think we're really focusing on what you're feeling right now, because that really is the past. Because what you're feeling right now is what's really bothering you, yeah? So, I think if we look into what is bothering you right now, maybe we can reach a better, in a way to help you. So, I just wanted to know the whole feeling of what you're feeling.
But you're not bringing a child back.
It's what's done is done, but I think it's really about facing the problem right now. And I think if we look into what you're feeling right now in more detail, maybe you will feel better, and then maybe our Dr. Mathai can help you on later.
Okay, if you can just do the assessment, we will have time to work on your problems. But first of all, we have to find out exactly what the problem is, okay? So I would advise him to proceed. And then we have it all down, and then we can make a diagnosis, okay? Yeah.
Okay, thank you. So I'd just like to know this feeling of things going down. Does it always happen, or are there times when it comes and goes, or are you always feeling it?
I spend the whole day moving things in the house that I feel that really, that I feel the ground can take. Yeah, the things that I feel, like the fridge, I move the fridge. I sleep on the floor because I feel like the weight of the bed will make the ground sink. All my tiles in there, I remove all the tiles in the house, and then I have to, the whole day I have to keep on confirming that the floor is not going down. Yeah, I have to lift the tiles and touch them, confirm that the ground is not going down.
Is there anything that worsens the feeling? Is there anything in particular that when you do, you feel more anxious about the ground going down?
Yeah, sometimes if I get visitors in the house, because I know that is putting weight on the ground if I get too many people in the house. Like when my friends come to visit or when my family comes to visit, I feel like their weight will make the ground go down.
So the adding
So,
on.
yeah, so they're adding weight, so I have to keep on confirming that it's not going down.
Mhm. And is there anything at all that makes you feel better about the feeling? Apart from like people moving out, I'm sure that makes you feel better. I moved the chair out, that made me feel better. But anything else apart from just
I prefer being outside because I know, like when I'm outside, if there are not too many people, if I'm in a place where there are not too many people, I feel like the ground will not go down because of my weight. But if I have many people around me, then I have no problem with that.
Since you mentioned the onset, and I would also like to inquire, is thinking about your baby worsen the situation, or?
Yeah, because I always imagine the weight that was on the baby until she suffocated. I think about her every day, literally every day.
Is there anything else that you want me to know about your problem that you're facing right now? About your anxiety or whatever you're feeling?
No, it's impossible for me to get a job.
Okay.
Yeah, because all the offices, all the places people go and work, it has a lot of furniture, and I feel that it's putting pressure on the ground, and I feel like the ground will go down. So I'm really struggling right now because I don't have. My mom supports me a little bit, but my husband left, and I can't get a job. I get job offers, but I can't go to work. Yes.
So that's really bothering you financially.
Yes.
And how has that affected your social interaction with people? It's minimal, or?
Normally I don't leave the house because I have to confirm that the house is not going down. The floor is not going down, so I have to stay in the house the whole day. And I have to keep on checking all the tiles. I remove the tiles and put them back as I try to check. And make sure the floor is not going down.
Have you sought care before? Is this your first time coming?
Yeah.
It's your first time. So before, when something really bothered you, who did you talk to about it?
When I don't talk to anyone, but my mom knows I'm a bit anxious because it's so hard for me to go and visit her. So when I remove the tiles in the house and make sure that the ground is not going down, my anxiety goes down a little bit.
Okay.
Yes. But I do it literally the whole day and almost the whole night.
Okay.
Yeah.
And are you scared that people are judging you for what you're doing, or that's not your concern, your main concern?
Yeah, my friends think I'm weird. Like really.
Okay, so is that all about your current problem? Okay, so now I'd like to go back into your past. Is there any other time apart from after losing your baby that you felt that you needed some attention, some clinical attention for like counseling or something?
There's a time
So if you could just be specific about the age and for that.
yeah, when I was around 5 years old,
Okay.
I was abused. Yeah. And to release the anxiety back then, because no one knew about the abuse, I had to do things 4 times. Like I had to open the door 4 times. If I'm stepping somewhere, I have to step 4 times. And then when I was around 20 years old, although it's not as much because this one has overtaken that other one, I fear germs. I used to wash my hands a lot, all the time. Yeah, I used to feel like there are germs everywhere, and I don't want to shake people's hands. Yeah.
So did you seek any counseling on that?
No.
You just dealt with it yourself?
Yeah, no. This other issue became more than the germs issue, so at least this one has overtaken. So because I'm busy checking the ground, I don't have time to wash my hands out.
Okay. And did you try to relieve those things by taking any like treatments or anything? Or did you hear from anyone that this will help and you tried taking it? Did you take anything to help yourself relieve from what you were feeling?
No.
So you just washing your
When I
hands?
wash my hands, I feel
Better.
better.
Okay. So that's it for your past history. Was there anything else in particular you'd like to point out? And you've never really sought counseling, yeah? Okay. The other thing would be, I'd like to go into your medical history. Did you ever have any condition or any problem with health, like physical health in particular?
Not that I remember. Apart from just lots of malaria.
Okay. And any surgeries done or any admissions in hospital for?
Yeah, I had a cesarean section.
Oh, you did a cesarean. Okay. And any accidents in your life, like? So it's okay. Okay. Now that we've dealt with the history, I'd like to go a bit into your family history. So I'd like to know, like your mother's name, your father's name, and your interaction with them. So if you could just brief me on your mother first.
My mom is called Mary Kitama.
Okay.
I actually named the baby after her. My dad is called Rupert Kitama. And I have 3 brothers.
3 brothers. And are you the last born or? Okay. So with your mother, how's your relationship with your mother?
We're a bit close. We're a bit close. Yeah. So she's the only person who at least comes to my house because she's a bit slim. So I know how weight won't affect the floor.
Okay, and how far is she educated in terms of?
She's gone up to university.
Okay. And has she ever faced a similar problem like you are facing?
Yeah, she's normally a bit anxious as well.
Okay. Anything in particular, or just generally?
Like when it comes to issues to do with safety and security, she's always been very protective of us, and that's why I feel I was careless with my baby because I grew up with a mom who was very cautious when it comes to security issues and safety issues. Yeah.
So somewhere in your heart you feel she was a better mother than you can get. And was there any other, has she ever sought any like counseling care or anything like that? So she was, even today she's fine and she's doing well. Okay, and your father? Is he alive? Or?
Yeah, he is.
Okay, and he's with your mother?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I don't really allow him to come visit because he's a bit big.
Okay. And how is his relationship with your mother in terms of like when you were a child growing up, seeing them together?
Yeah.
Was it always okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
But when I was abused, when I was 5 years old, my parents were not around at that time. Like we lived in the house then. I was
Okay. And your personal relationship with your father, would you describe it as being smooth or it's okay? But you're probably closer to your mother, would you say that? Or? Your 3 brothers? I think we'll start with the eldest.
Yeah. He is a lecturer.
Okay.
He has his own family. Then the other 2 are veterinary surgeons.
Okay. And your relationship with each one of them, are you very friendly with them?
Yes, but one of them is not in the country, and then the other one is not in Nairobi.
Okay. So which brother is around that you normally talk to?
Then I don't want to talk to. I'm the one who is the one of the vets.
One of them. The last one or the second?
No, the one who is not. The one who is not in Nairobi, but not the one in Guru, the one who is not in Nairobi.
Okay.
But he he hardly ever comes to my house because he never, I mean, he's hardly ever around.
Okay, and so have they ever, like the way you feel anxious at times, have they ever felt similar or any other problem that they faced?
No, I think for them they're okay. Right now, I'm feeling.
Feeling congested? Is that better? So they've been fine, they've been doing well, never really faced any problem. Okay, and within your extended family, you feel that you behave like someone else, or do you feel like someone else has a very similar problem you relate to?
It's only my mom.
Okay,
Okay.
that's probably the closest.
Because the others have never lost a child, so
Okay. And I'll just go a bit into your life. I mean, from when you started, from when you were born, actually before when you were born. So just like to know, well, it might be a bit personal, and I hope that's okay. But were you a wanted child to start with? Like, were your parents, did they want pregnancy? Are you aware?
because yeah, they were married.
Okay.
It was planned.
Okay. And were you born at the normal time, normal delivery? It was all normal.
Yeah, I was actually 3.5 kgs.
Okay. And when you were born, who was nurturing you? Was it your mother, or I think you mentioned a maid?
Yeah, my mom was still a bit young, so she was still in college.
Okay. I don't know if you know, many people don't, but do you remember any of childhood milestones, such as when you started walking, when you started talking? Would you have any idea?
What I remember is by the time I was around 2.5, I don't remember the sitting and the walking, but I remember I started school when I was 2.5 years old.
Okay.
And by the time I was 3, my grandma, at some point I stayed with my grandma
Okay.
at Kenyatta University. She used to work there. So she used to call me a parrot. Yeah. Yeah, because I used to talk a lot, so I think by the time I was 3 years old, I was very talkative.
Did you have any problems, like, were you told by your parents when you were small, were there any particular problems that they would point out? Or
Medically or?
no, probably looking more into like socially.
I was a social kid, and I remember in one of my report forms, the teacher had written that I sing very loudly. Yeah, so I was very social with other children.
So you said you started school at 2.5 years of age, right? So were there any? Did you love going to school, or was it like non-school?
Because one of the veterinary doctors he's adopted.
Okay.
So my real brother, even the eldest one, is also adopted. Was adopted before we were even born. So my real brother, I used to enjoy him to school because he was there with me.
He was there. So going to school wasn't a problem really. And now in school, were you okay with the friends you had? And
I still remember when I was in baby class. I still remember up to now some of their names.
oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
So you were very attached to your childhood. Was there any problem with any teachers or?
No.
Okay. So, and academically, how did you feel you performed?
I used to perform
consistently, or was it?
consistently.
And okay, now just go into a bit of the abuse we talked about. So when you were 5, you said you were abused. Was it sexual abuse or child abuse?
It was more physical
Okay.
and like the house girl. She used to sometimes refuse to give me food if I don't cram a certain book. And then she used to pinch me a lot. At some point, I remember she beat me up until I was swollen all over the body.
So you were abused by the house girl, basically for not doing your work.
No. I remember she wanted me to sleep for like 2 more hours in the afternoon, and I was not sleeping anymore, and I woke up and I went outside, and then she found me outside. That's when she really beat me until I was swollen all over. And then she used to, when I do something wrong, she used to push me like on my head like this. And sometimes I would fall down, hit my head on the wall. Yeah.
So did you take the initiative to tell your parents or your brothers?
Yeah, I did later. My mom came from college and then we told her.
Okay, and was any action taken?
Yeah. She was actually beaten by my dad and she was sent home.
Okay. So post that abuse, did you start feeling anxious post that, or like you said, I think you mentioned you did feel anxious early on as well, like when you were 12, but before that, even when you were around like 8 to 10 years old,
Yeah.
were you really anxious in school, or did it?
Yeah, sometimes because that house girl made me feel rejected.
Okay.
So when I would go to school and I couldn't fit in the other groups, like in the girl groups for the popular girls, it used to make me feel rejected a lot, and I used to get withdrawn.
So you used to feel withdrawn, and did you do anything to overcome that?
I started singing. I realized I could sing better than all of them. So at least that was something that I was at least better in than the rest of them.
Mm-hmm. So as you moved on, I think the next thing was high school, and did you interact a lot with like your peers? Were you really happy as a teenager?
Yeah, my teenage was okay, but yeah, it was okay.
But then I think you mentioned you were a bit anxious as well on the side.
Yeah.
I guess you were still.
But that was for the jumps that was around 20. And for the other one was a bit earlier.
Okay.
Doing things 4 times.
Yeah. So that was much earlier.
Yeah.
Okay. So at teenage time you were really okay.
Yeah, in a big way, yes. But I remember I used to have a problem using the toilets and bathrooms at school.
Okay.
I still used to feel their germs there, so but the problem got worse when I was around 20 years old.
Okay. And now I'd just like to know if you're okay with me going into a bit of your even more personal history in terms of boys and that situation. So I'd like to inquire, did you have any relationships or potential, as they call it, lovers in high school? Were you into any sort of?
Yeah, I used to be a bit social in high school. I had a high school sweetheart.
Okay.
Yeah, I did.
And was it very close, or were you okay with how things were with him?
Yeah, we were more best friends and
Okay.
we used to hang out together over the holidays. Yeah.
Okay. And as it progressed, did it last for long? Or
3 years.
3 years. And any particular cause of the breakup?
Moving. We
Oh, okay,
moved.
so it was the distance. Okay. And in terms of getting close, was there any sort of physical
At that
aspect to
time.
it? Okay. So, and as you grew up, what course did you do, if I may ask? Was it KCSE or?
Kids.
So when you finished the KCSE, did you pass pretty well? Or?
Yeah, I think I was okay.
Okay. And at that time, were you into a relationship with any other boy?
No. Remember after we broke up, I stayed for a while, for a long time alone.
Was the next thing marriage after the high school boyfriend?
Yeah, that's when I met this, because I finished high school when I was 16 years old.
Oh, okay.
And then I broke up with a guy when I was 18, the one who used to live in high school.
Mhm.
And then I met this other one when I was around 20 years old.
Okay.
Yeah. We got married when I was 22. Got the baby when I was 23. And then
When you said you got into a relationship and you okay? Is anything bothering you?
No.
Okay. So when you got into a relationship with your husband, at 20, was there any problem? Were you a happy couple? Were there any problems in your marriage? Did anything of his bother you or the other way?
I think our dating was okay, but after we got married, he became a little bit abusive, a little bit verbally.
So physically he used to hit you or?
No, it was just small.
Verbal.
But when the baby died, there's a time he hit me.
Okay. I don't know if I should bring this up because it's not really part of the history, but would you have thought if you had another husband, would he have dealt with the situation better? At the corner of your mind, did you feel that when you lost your baby, you expected him to be a bit more supportive?
I don't know. I don't know if someone else would have reacted differently. But I feel I deserve the beating because when he hit me that time, because I took away a life. Yeah, if it wasn't for my carelessness, that baby wouldn't have died and my marriage would not have.
So you feel guilty for both the baby and the marriage?
It's all my fault. It was all.
Are you still in touch with your husband or at all? So you have no idea where he is?
But I had he got married to someone else and they have a lovely baby.
Have you ever thought of getting married to someone else?
Let me pass the question to you. If you had a wife who has removed all the tiles in her house and keeps on checking whether the ground will go down, would you go to such a person?
It really isn't about me, but I think the situation really is about what you want to do. So if you want to marry, and I think, like we're saying, if you found someone who would probably understand you, then maybe he will be willing to accept you.
Then I haven't found anyone who they all think I'm weird.
But he would still want to get married if there was a chance?
If the guy is not weak, if it's a really slim guy. Yeah, because his weight right.
So that would still bother me. Okay. And do you want another child?
I feel if I want to get another child, I'll be replacing my baby. And I want to replace. I don't want her to feel like I'm trying to replace her.
Or maybe not your own, maybe adopt another child. you think your family's pretty okay to adopt it?
But I'm not even sure I'll have time for the child because I'm busy removing tiles and making sure that the floor doesn't sink. What time will I have to take care of the child?
Okay, so I think you pretty much covered about your occupation, and then you were pretty off that you can't really work right now. And your present life at the moment, if you had to say what would you do when you're not worrying, basically? As in when you're not concerned about is there anything, do you watch TV or do you not?
I remove the TV. I had a big TV. I removed it. I'm busy the whole day, the whole night doing that. So the only time I sit down is when I have to eat or sleep, of which I sleep a few hours because I'm always thinking I need to move this room, a certain room, I need to move this around here.
Okay, are you still living in the same house that you did? Have you ever considered moving out to another house? Maybe that will change.
I feel like I'm abandoning the memories of my child if I move to another house.
And as a form of suppressing these thoughts, have you ever tried to live at your mother's place or anything of that sort? Or you just like being...
I do want to really find the baby's spirit in the house, so I talk to her every day. I never go for a sleepover because I always feel like if I go, she won't have anyone to take care of her in the house because I feel her spirit is still with me. Yes.
Okay, I don't think you have, but just for completion's sake, have you ever been involved with any legal issues or the law in general? When you were abused, did you report it?
No, but when the child died, yes, I was involved with the law because when the police were coming to pick up the body, that was when I had some contact.
Okay. And was there any kind of enforcement by the law on you? Did they hold you responsible for anything?
The case is still pending because it's my ex-husband who tries to push it and say that I'm the one who killed the child, but he hasn't followed it up himself, so it's...
Okay, before the whole situation occurred, how would you describe yourself as a person?
Before you cried.
Yeah.
I was this very normal human being. I used to love children a lot. I used to be social with people. I used to take good care of myself. But now all that is gone. I feel like I'm not worthy to be a mom or to even babysit someone else's child because I feel I'll do something wrong and make them die like my child died.
What you feel right now, does it help your consciousness, or would you at some point want to go back to those old times that you were?
Because I would love to go back to the old times. This is not me. This is not me. I want to stop removing tiles. I get so tired. I want to stop removing tiles and having to check all the time if the ground is stable. Yeah, I want to go to work. I want to be able to take care of myself. At times I do not even shower because I don't have the time. Yes.
I think we're...
Okay, I think you will be the history taken. Caroline, I changed places with him, and I had heard with a lot of concern about your problems, and obviously you've had a very traumatic experience. And I would like to say that this is just the beginning. We're going to have more sessions with you, and we're going to work on this. But there are a few questions which I would like you to be clear about. How old was the baby?
The child was just
Just a week old. Would you say that you had any feelings of sadness or depression before the incident?
before
Before,
the incident.
yeah.
I was fine.
You were fine, you were happy,
Yeah, but
you were breastfeeding?
yes.
Yeah, okay. Now, what kind of clothes were these you put on the baby?
They were, I had like a bunch.
Of what?
Yeah, jeans,
Mhm,
t-shirts,
Mhm.
duvets.
mhm.
Yeah, because I had unhung them from the line, put them somewhere, then I picked them all together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just put them on the baby, but not on the head of the baby.
It was, on a small seat, the
Yeah,
one
yeah.
seater.
Yeah,
Yeah, so I just placed
sort
them.
of thing, yeah. Okay. Anyway, we'll go into that later because babies have even been buried in earthquakes and survived. It was a few, how long was it?
It was, because I remember I went to the kitchen to do some things and then it hit me that.
So it was a few minutes.
No, probably like 30 minutes.
30 minutes, yes. All I'm trying to say is that I know you've lived with a lot of guilt about it,
Yeah.
but babies don't normally die just because somebody put clothes on them. And there may be other reasons for the cause of death. I mean, there's something called sudden contact. And it has really nothing. I mean, because even when you put clothes like that, what you talk on baby, there's still a lot of air left because it's lack of air that would suffocate the baby. So I'm not really convinced that you killed the baby by putting clothes on it. But we will go into that later. But you were always breathless. I noticed you were breathless. Huh? Do you feel as if you're suffocating?
Yeah, so now that I'm here, I feel like, that I know there are many floors
Yeah.
in the hospital, and there's so many people that
Yeah.
are on those floors,
Mhm.
so I feel
So
like...
you feel pressure on it.
Yeah.
Are there moments when you feel as if you're going to die?
Yeah,
That-
yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, the times when
Mhm.
I actually can't breathe.
You can't breathe. When you're going. Do you feel as if your heart, you can hear your heart beating?
Yeah, literally, there are times, yes, I feel that.
Does it feel as if it's beating too fast?
Too fast.
Too fast.
Yes. I
Yeah.
actually, at the times,
Yes.
if I feel that way, like when I'm on a bed, when I'm lying on a bed,
Yeah.
I actually feel my heart beat. I actually feel
Yeah.
it.
Then what do you do when that happens?
I normally go outside.
You go outside.
Yeah, then I try to take some.
You take some deep breaths. How would you say, how many minutes does that last? The moments when you feel your heart is beating too much, you feel there's too much pressure, you feel as if you're going to, how long would that take?
At least, like for the heartbeat, I can feel it for at least like 5 minutes, or sometimes more, sometimes, yeah.
Mm.
And not for the breathing, at least when I get out,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
get some air.
Okay. Okay. Do you feel dizzy in such moments?
Not all the time.
Not all the time, sometimes. What about feeling a tingling on the fingers or pinpricks?
Yes, sometimes I do, even on my toes. Yeah, sometimes I do, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Then it goes down and you're a bit well. Of course, you're still doing chimes and things.
Yeah, but sometimes when I
Mm.
start thinking about my child,
Mm.
even if I've come from taking some pressure and I think about it again, I start listening for it again.
Yeah. So about how many episodes like this do you get per day on a bad day?
On a bad day.
On a bad day.
On a bad day, at least 10.
10. Okay. Has this had any effect on you sleep?
Yeah, because most of the times I wake up with a startle.
Yeah.
Yeah, when I'm asleep, and so I wake up with a startle because I'm thinking about my child because
Yeah.
I dream with the baby.
Mm.
And then sometimes my head tells me, oh, I didn't check the tiles,
Yeah.
nesting room, so I have to wake up to go check if they're okay.